Where's the money? I'm joking.
That's right, Joe. Where is the money? In case you missed that, it's Joe Biden speaking this morning with Rishi Sunak. Just a minute while we've got a change of audio going on and there's something going on in the background. So I'm just going to try and get on top of that real quick to figure out what's going on. Of course, need to test that, and we'll test that by just having a little look to see what's going on, what the output is, and see what you're hearing on YouTube. If you have any problems with the audio, do let me know. You're more than welcome to comment about that. Right, okay. Sounds good to me. So I'm just going to play that little video clip again, and the question that everybody's asking...
Where's the money? I'm joking.
...is where's the money, Joe? Joe Biden wants to know where the money is. Every Leeds United fan wants to know where the money is, and what is the commitment level from 49'ers at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going around online, as you would normally expect, with even more gossip today saying that the deal is done and the deal is over the line and everything is all hunky-dory and everything else like that. The answer, sadly, unless you hear it from the club directly, the answer is it's not done. All right, it is not done. And the reason it's not done, two reasons, mainly I can think of. Number one, Leeds are going to have to get this authorised by the EFL, the FA as well. So the English Football League and the Football Association are both going to have a say in what happens with Leeds United and whether they think that the proposition or the proposal to buy Leeds United as a going concern is a suitable prospect for the league, for Leeds United. And with all of that, there are things called checks and balances. And with the checks and balances, they're going to have to do the audits and make sure that these people who are purchasing Leeds United are suitable candidates. They're properly financed. They have the right amount of available funds, and that not everything is being purchased on a bank charge or a bank loan, as is the case with Rad Razani. Rad Razani is now appearing to be backed by the 49'ers to purchase Sampdoria. And as I kind of alluded to now in one of my previous live streams, that might well be the case. Kinnear might not necessarily be involved in that process because it's a separate legal entity. He's just employed. He's just a member of Leeds United board, not a board. Maybe he's not a member of the board of any of other Radrazani's concerns. Maybe he's not on the board yet of the 49'ers. So if he is in the dark, it's not surprising that he's literally just been cut out of the equation. I hope that's not the case because, the guy's literally probably working night and day to try and sort the squad out because there's nobody else. There must literally be nobody else there to sort out the director of football, manager, players, etc. And as we know, he's not really in a position to authorise or to purchase the sale of any players, nor is he in the position to sign any players. And the reason for that is because of two factors. He's just a director. He's not the owner of the football of the football club. He doesn't have the financial clout to do that. And he certainly doesn't seem to be in any kind of legal authority to have the power to make those kinds of decisions on the club. At the moment, it still seems to me that it is up in the air. It is completely up in the air. And we saw today, I'll just share the screen here, just so you can see what I'm looking at. I'll read this to you as well as we're going through, and it seems, and I'll just zoom in here. It's a gentleman by the name of Andrea Russo, and he says regarding the reports from Tu Sicolo XIX. Now I think, is that 21? I don't know. Possibly. No, it isn't. 21's XXI, so I don't know what that is in Roman numerals, but anyway, it basically reports that the 49ers, represented by the current Leeds vice president, or vice chairman as he was, Farag Marath, and now supporting Leeds Radrazani's operation to acquire Sampdoria. So it's not Radrazani on his own. He is now being backed by the 49ers, and it makes me wonder, is Radrazani somehow more in with the 49ers as an investor as opposed to just, the buying him out? Does he have more involvement? Does he have more say? And it seems that there's more to this than meets the eye. I am I'm quite skeptical at the moment, and I'm not convinced with what is being said and the stuff that's coming out of Elland Road. And I certainly would have expected to see a little bit more from the 49ers at this stage. I've been doing a bit of digging around this week, a little bit, and finding any information about the 49ers, because it's not an LLC, it's not a public listed company. It seems that the information that people are looking for is very hard to find. I don't know if any of you have tried looking, but certainly what I've seen shows that the 49ers is majority owned by the York family. Now, the head of the family, or the lead person involved there, she's I can't remember her name, but I'm gonna try and retrieve it, guys, as we speak. I had a look, and they are listed on Forbes. All right, and they are listed at, I think, is about 523 in the Forbes rich list of billionaires, and their net worth is approximately $5.1 billion, and they've acquired over $1 billion net worth in the last 12 months. So it seems to me that, although they've got all of this money, that, there might not be the level of cash available just immediately to get around. Denise York, and she owns 90% of the 49ers, or San Francisco 49ers, which is a different legal entity. Okay, this is getting a little bit more complicated than we believe, because this legal entity doesn't always use itself. It might also use an investment company that is responsible directly for it's called an investment arm. All right, an investment arm. So you might have the head company, then you might have 49ers below that as a sub company, if you like, and then alongside that you might have other ventures or other vehicles to raise capital, and other vehicles in which they can go ahead and purchase companies, etc. Now, what is interesting to me is Farag, according to an ESPN report, was demoted as the director of football at the San Francisco 49ers, and they've kind of sidestepped him. So now he's ended up at Elland Road. He's been there for a little while. And it makes me wonder, is his focus on Leeds United completely? And I think the answer to that at the moment is no. He's got other ventures and other fingers in other pies elsewhere. It also seems to me that we're just lacking any kind of clarity And fans are rightly worried. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this is not going to be a straightforward acquisition. If they wanted to acquire it and they have this kind of money available, or that the net worth is at $5.1 billion, $200 million is neither here nor there to them. All right, it should just be a very easy case of raising the capital, and it all goes through very quickly. Now, I can understand that they've kind of tippy-toed into Leeds United, and they don't want to get the fingers burnt and all the rest of it. And they've been on the scene now for about 5 years, slowly purchasing Radrazani and buying him out of the club. And everybody, I think, expects it to go through very, very quickly. It doesn't seem to work that way in the footballing world, I'm afraid. I mean, look at the Man United deal. That's been going on for a long time. Another twist in the tail there with the Qataris trying to get in. I think it's Jim Radcliffe, and they're this kind of business. When you're talking about these $100 million deals and upwards, it isn't straightforward. It's not like going down to the shop and buying a packet of sweets. It's it's a very complicated matter, and it's more complicated by the regulators, the lawyers, the parties involved. And I've said it before, these kinds of people, they don't care about the fans. We've seen it at Liverpool. We're seeing it at Chelsea. We've seen it at Man United. All right? They don't care about the fans. What they care about is getting that club to generate revenue, income streams for them. And the way they do that isn't really through the fans. All right? They're going to make a couple of million here and there in the shirt sales, season tickets, a bit of merch, etc. But the vast majority of the money that football clubs raise is not from things that are happening at the ground. Do you see what I mean? So it seems that a lot of Leeds fans, I pay my money, yeah, everybody pays their money, but these people, they don't care. They literally don't care about you, right? They're not there to care about you. Radrazani made a great impression of caring about us, made a great impression of caring about the club, side before self and all the rest of it. No one's seen or heard out from him for over 6 months. So you tell me, they don't care. It's business to them. It's business. They don't care about the sport. They don't care about football. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about they have very little knowledge of what's been going on. I put it to Andrea Radrazani. If he had a quiz of 10 questions of things that happened during games at Leeds United in the last 6 months, he would get 0 out of 10 correct. I might get a couple. All right. I don't think he's given a monkey's what's going on at Elland Road. I think he's done great for the club overall, getting us getting the stadium bought, getting us back to where we did belong. We're not there now, as we know, and I think that we're in a situation. It feels like no man's land. For me, it feels like no man's land. If ever you've never been in a war, and you've always heard the term or expression of being in no man's land, I can now sympathise and say now I know what a soldier must have felt like if they ended up finding themselves in no man's land. It is just beyond belief to me that we're in this situation. The time is ticking by. There's nobody making any decisions. Very little's getting done about players in and players out. Meanwhile, we've got Liverpool over there. They go out and sign McAllister from Brighton for 35 million quid. It might not even be as much as that, but that's the reported figure. In the beginning, it was nearly 50 million. Then when it all came out, it was about 35 million. We've got Southampton and Leicester already making major moves about what they're going to do next year. They're all sorted out. We, on the other hand, it is just insane. I mean, I think that Radrazani's tried offloading Leeds during that Premier League season. He must have done. That would have been the common sense thing to do, right? Get it done. Get it offloaded over the World Cup. Get them to buy us out at the higher asking price. He gets his money and he walks away. They come in and we start after Christmas, after the New Year break, and then we can get on with the footballing business. It's no big deal. Has any of this stuff had any effect on the players? Well, the players are going to turn around and say no. I probably think that there's more going on there than a lot of us realise. I think Radrazani. Well, in fact, it's not. I don't think he's actually said that, hasn't he? So it just beggars belief how bad or what state we are in, and it is a real sorry state at the moment. Let's have a look. Okay, right. So, yes, sorry, I can't accept children on the stream, I'm afraid. That kind of thing is not good. I don't want to get into trouble. XIX is 19. There you go, you see. I don't know Roman numerals. It's not something I know them up to a certain number, and then I'm just like, nobody cares, sort of thing. But that's right. So it's 19. There's your answer. So well done, man, Josh. Now we'll have a little look at the York family. It says Denise York's family. This is Forbes. Is this? If you've not been on there, Forbes publishes a list of the world's wealthiest people on a regular basis. One of the go-to places to get that is the Forbes 100 list. They publish a lot of different lists and publish it in different guises as well. I mean, how old do you think this woman is? She's in her 70s, mate. She's in her 70s. So, Denise York's family own 90% of the 49'ers, San Francisco 49'ers, one of the 10 most valuable teams in the NFL. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's the National Football League, is it? York's father, Edward DiBertello Sr., died in 1994, bought the team for $13 million in 1977. It's now worth $5.2 billion. So we have a discrepancy already. She's a co-chairman, but there is a background story to this. And I don't think a lot of Leeds fans know very much about what's going on at San Francisco. I certainly don't. But I have read a number of other reports recently over the last day or two, actually, while I've been preparing for this live stream, about just who these people are. What I'm also trying to do is track down who the other 10% of people, who the other 10% of these investors actually are, because it's rumoured that it's not just one or two; it's a consortium of up to 60 people involved in the 49'ers enterprises. And is it them? I've also read reports that Farag is going to become the outright owner of Leeds United. So in some US publications, they are saying that Farag is going to be the man. He's going to be the owner, and he's going to be the chairman. I mean, that would kind of make sense to me. But then, is he having a falling out with the 49'ers over his demotion? All right. York's so it's now worth that. York took control of the 49'ers in the year 2000 from her brother Edward Jr., who found himself in legal trouble after owning the team for 23 years. Interesting that there's nothing divulged about what went on with this legal trouble, but I'm pretty sure if we dug around a little bit, we could find out a little bit more about what that is, because remember, it's not just the company, it's the family behind it as well. And it seems to me that there's some weird stuff going on here. There really is. Denise and her husband John have 4 children. The oldest, Jed, serves as the current CEO of the 49'ers. Yeah, I've read a bit about this guy, Jed, and you know, there's more to this. I'll guarantee you, there's more to this than we're being told, and there's more to this than meets the eye. I think it's. I don't know if this is going to be a good thing for Leeds United or not. I really don't, because imagine if they bring drama. Imagine if they're bringing practices of business that are just not acceptable in the UK. We've already seen it with this Sampdoria bank loan charge, and how Elland Road is now, or maybe, we don't know if it's confirmed yet, but the rumour was that there were the Italian bank who's lending money to Radrizzani to buy Sampdoria actually pretty much owns Ellen, or part of Elland Road at the moment. It's honestly, it's mad. Her husband's a pathologist and founded Dior Laboratories in Youngstown, Ohio, before selling it to Corning. So that must be another company there. The climb of wealth and net worth. Well, 2003 it was 2013 it was 1.1 billion. 14, 1.2. Then we have a big jump in 2016, 1.9. Bear in mind, these things on Forbes might not be 100% accurate. There are going to be variations because this company seems to me that it's operating within the family behind closed doors, and that's it. And I think when Radrizzani is telling people that it's none of their business, it's not really him. He's been told to say that. And I'll put that to you now, that the 49ers don't want everything out in open air, dirty laundry, if you like. And it makes it sound to me that Radrizzani's being told what to say. And that wouldn't surprise me. The way that this company seems to be owned and operated. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that they don't want airing. 2.4 in 2017, 2.5 2018, 2019. So this is 4 years ago, and they're worth half as much as what they are now, 2.5 billion. 2020 sees a massive increase, 3.2. 2021, 3.5. 2022, 4. And then 2023, 5.1 billion. Right. They're listed as 523 on the Billionaires 2023 list, 196 on the Forbes 100. She's 72. Self-made scores 3. I don't know what that. I mean, I assume that's a self. Her first job after college was building the HR department of the family's company. Right. Her father was also the owner of Pittsburgh Penguins. Denise was the team's president in 1991 when it won its first ever Stanley Cup. Okay, so a little bit of a background there about the York family and about what's going on there. There is a private chat going. I'm going to join on the chat. Right, okay, man, Josh, yeah, no problem. So it just seems that there's more to this nonsense than meets the eye. I'm not convinced that it's a good thing for Leeds United at the moment. I'm just not sure at all. We're waiting on all of this information. You go on the LeedsUnited.com. There's literally nothing there. It's as if there's just nothing happening. We all know that there's these little leaks are coming out, and we're being drip fed and a little bit of stuff here and there, but there's nothing concrete about what's the story going on. Fans are rightly concerned, but these people don't care about fans. There, I've said it. You might not like it that I've said it, but they don't. It's proven time and time again over history that football owners don't really care about the fans. That's not where the bulk of the business is, the bulk of the money is. It's not in the fans anymore. It hasn't been for a lot of years. And you look at these giant clubs now, they're trying to break away, get rid of the Premier League, and make their own European Super Cup. Why bother playing Fulham, Leeds, Brighton when we could be playing Barcelona, PSG, AC Milan? All right. And have some kind of American style franchise deal going on where we're going to have this league, but nobody gets relegated. All we care about is the money, and that is it. That is literally it. You don't even care anymore about the entertainment side of it. And rightly so. I mean, the English tier of football, this is probably why the government are going to try and put some oversight in on the FA, put some oversight in on the Premier League, and try and do something about the regulation. I mean, the regulation of the sport, because at the moment it is under threat, in my opinion, and these people who are coming in and investing in the game, using the game as a cash cow, have zero to little concern, appreciation for what it stands for, what it means to be a fan. And I just hope that if they do need to get in and sort this out, because if they don't, and they don't get the right legislation in place soon, I think we're going to be facing a situation where, clubs are going to, even second tier clubs, clubs who are not bankrolled, are going to be sat there like, well, why are we bothering with the Premier League? You took the 5 or 6 biggest, 3 or 4 of the biggest teams out of the Premier League, which is what they were talking about, wasn't it, 2 years ago? But they just disappeared. What would the Premier League be then? Well, it'd lose a lot of interest, and domestically it probably wouldn't, but internationally, which is where the money is, they'd just be like, oh, well, there's no Chelsea or Arsenal or Liverpool in the Premier League anymore, or Manchester United, Manchester City, so I'm not going to bother watching the Premier League. So straight away, the Premier League is going to get devalued and ripped apart, isn't it, pretty much? And the value is going to decline, while these other teams can disappear and start playing the football in other league, in this European Super League, and literally make their own rules in the game. Now, it's plastic. It's more plastic football than football already is at the moment, isn't it? It just seems to me, absolutely absurd what's been going on. Let's have a look. So yeah, there we go. Right. Ins and outs at Elland Road. Well, it looks like Firpo's on his way, doesn't it? Firpo's Instagram, I think, has come out, and he said he's very sorry, apologised to the home and away fans, the people who travelled, and apologised to the fans overall. I said this before, anybody who wears the shirt, as long as they're putting a shift in, or they're trying and they're trying the best, that they'll get my respect all day. Firpo's leaving. It's going to be sad to see him go. He could probably do a job for us in the Championship, but he's on his way. Then I've seen reports today that Roca is on his way to Barcelona, and now that Messi's binned off Barcelona and he's gone for the money, hasn't he? Gone to Miami, 370 million a year, something, if I'm not mistaken. Almost as much as, or probably more than, what Ronaldo's on, and they're even saying that they're putting every single, like Messi even gets it's a better deal than Kylian Mbappe at PSG. They're talking about merch deals, they're talking about this deal, that deal. There's no, no doubt in my mind who's the owner. Who's the owner at Miami, Inter Miami? David Beckham. What did David Beckham do about 10 days ago? Fires his best mate, Phil Neville, who's the manager of the team, or one of his best mates, because he's getting earache off the investors or the fans, more likely the investors. Who plays for Inter Milan? That's right, Phil Neville's son. I mean, this is why people are sat there thinking it is a complete joke. It is, honestly. You think things are bad with Leeds at the minute. It could just be the beginning of things getting a whole lot worse, because I honestly think it could be a total sham and nothing more than a comedy show down at Elland Road, with this lot coming in. No disrespect to people in America, Americans and all the rest of it. It just seems that they might not get it. It's taking so long to get this through. A month, 2 months. We've been on with this. They've been on with this buyout for a long, long time now, and it's taking ages. It is taking such a long time. I just don't know where it's going to end. Do you have any other deals, chat? Do you have any other deals about people going on? Anybody else leaving or anybody else joining Leeds? Have you heard anything? I mean, it almost, to me, seems that nothing's moving for us right now. Nothing can move. We don't have the infrastructure to get... It's literally just paper talk to get any players in, to get any players out, because we don't have an owner. We don't have an owner. Radrazani can't make any decisions because he's on his way out, allegedly. 49'ers can't make any decisions because they're on the way in. So when I say we're in the lap of limbo, and I mean, if you look at I made a comment earlier on in my, excuse me, got frogs in my throat, I think, today. Made a comment today in my community post, and I joked. But the more I'm thinking about this, the less I'm laughing. And it literally says, yeah, don't worry, man, Josh. If you need to leave, it's okay. Don't worry. No problem at all. You want to leave, it's fine. Don't worry. You want to come back? No problem. You want to catch up later? No problem. Don't feel bad because you have to leave. It's okay. Not a problem at all. He's a very polite young man, his man Josh. I always get messages from him. For anyone wondering what it says on the top of the thumbnail, it says, "This eloquent piece of Yorkshire real estate comes with a football squad, no manager, no DOF, and a total confusion." And I think when I've listened to Sam's Tippy Tappy Football, Sam Allardyce's Tippy Tappy Football podcast today, he's right. There's total confusion down at Elland Road. Nobody seems to know what the hell's going on. Nobody can take any responsibility for anything, and it's like there's a vacuum in the boardroom at the moment. There isn't a chairman. There's no director of football. Kinnear, I don't know what he's doing. The poor guy. He has my absolute sympathy if he's because he can't say anything. He can't speak out about it. He can't tell Rads, this is unacceptable. He can't tell the 49'ers this is not, because there's just nothing he can do. He's powerless. It is a complete and utter shame. It's a shambles. I reckon Steven Gerrard might take over us because he has a lot of experience and may be able to fix problems at Leeds, although I highly doubt it. We need the youngsters. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it literally is at the moment. It literally is our last avenue. And I can see a situation where if we don't get our finger pulled out as a matter of urgency, we're playing this game against Man United in Oslo, and I can see us just literally taking youngsters because the senior first team players that we have at the moment. I mean, there's no wonder if this is the state of play. There's no wonder they've lost a lot of motivation for the club because we're just rudderless. We are utterly rudderless. We've got no direction. We don't have. It's a complete shambles. If I'm brutally honest. And the other day I was watching Leeds United YRA 72. I think it is. I might be wrong. And he says that he's feeling confident. He's feeling optimistic. I was feeling that a few days ago, but now I'm not. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking this has got to be sorted out as a matter of urgency. I don't care who it is, as long as the paperwork gets signed up, and everything's legal and above board, and there's nothing to worry about, and the money's placed, and the funds are available. The funds that the club has earned through the players. All right, I don't care. Let's just get on, get it done as quickly as possible because time is running out. And if we get off to this pre-season, as Stu said the other week, it's all right talking about the start of the season. What about the pre-season? And there are 60 odd days until the start of this season proper. And at the moment, we've got nothing. We literally have got nothing. We've got nothing. We don't have anything. It literally is coming down to one of the coaching staff having to go in there and sort out because we don't have a manager. Chat. We don't have a manager. How on earth are we? Is this club literally is not functioning at any level? It is not functioning at any level, and it needs sorting out like urgently. You go watch that Sam Allardyce podcast. He said, "Don't wait until tomorrow. Get on with it. Get it done. Get whoever it is appointed today, and that's your person in charge." He then had, or she. I mean, some people said we should get one of the Chelsea ladies coaches in. I mean, right? I've got nothing against ladies football, but we just need somebody who we know we can familiarise ourselves with. Who's right? Okay. Here's a statement. This is what's going on with the squad. Bang, 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 bang. Right. These players are in. These are out. And these ones are staying. These ones are going. So we then have a little bit of clarity. At the minute, all we have is a load of waffle in the press. I mean, even the journalists must be sitting there thinking, they must go into the office and think, what am I going to write about today? Because there's literally no news about Leeds United. It is a complete wall of silence at the moment. It's driving me up the wall, is this. It really is. I mean, if I could get my hand on a 200 million quid like that, I'd just buy it out and I'd sort all this mess out in about 5 minutes. I think every other Leeds United fan would say the same. It isn't too difficult. But then I've seen reports of Leeds trying to go for the Blackburn coach. And, Blackburn didn't do too badly in that championship season this season. They finished just outside the playoffs and is highly rated, the coach there. But then they're talking about some of the coach from Lorient in France. There's a couple of other names being floated about. Like literally, journalists must just be sat there thinking, "Well, there's literally nothing. There's nothing factual to write about. There's nothing factual. We're just getting the odd leak." People think that this deal's done, and there's literally absolutely nothing. I mean, I've seen streamers sat there doing streams. I'll just keep talking until something appears on club website. And guess what? Nothing's appeared on the club website. It ain't gonna appear on the club website. You go there now, and they're talking about Helder and Claesson being included in the under 21 squad. Latest news is FA statement on Newcastle United. That's about the crowd control issues. Werber called up for Austria, and that's it. There's nothing. There's no sign. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I won't say Radrazan is a liar, but I will say that this whole thing, this whole drama that's unfolded this season, he's not a liar, but I think I think the arrogance and it's that flamboyant word, isn't it? It's really come home to roost for him. It really has, and the fans now, if anybody's thinking about Leeds United, I mean, if they actually evaluate what's going on, they'll be and figure it out. They're gonna be absolutely. It's like, how the hell can this? We are the only club in the land that's in this situation out of all the other clubs. We need players like Bamford and Rodrigo to be replaced. I think I'd keep Rodrigo. I think there's enough money in the bank. There should be enough money to keep Rodrigo. I think his return in the Premier League in amongst a poor side was outstanding. 15 goals, was it? With his injuries and all the other nonsense that we had to put up with. Rodrigo, keep him. Joseph and Sonny, Matteo, Joseph and Sonny Perkins, because they are young and they could develop their skill at our club as they're capable. Yeah, I think so. We're going to have to. We won't have any choice if we keep dithering about like we have done. There won't be a transfer market for Leeds, because it'll be too late. The transfer window will shut, and what's left? You don't want to be scraping the barrel of the transfer market and signing another bunch of players that are going to not fit the mould and fit the MO that Leeds have, and that has to be because I don't want us to be rotting away in the Championship for another for more than one season. For me, it's got to be we go out this season and the target is we win it as champions, get back into the Premier League, and then by then hopefully we've got some proper leadership in place that can make decisions. People with footballing brains, not Cowboy Orta. Pull the name out of a hat algorithms. Honestly, it's a bloody nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I'm so disappointed with this. I never thought, you sat there, you thinking, how has it come to this? How has it come to this? It's just everybody's just been abused, basically. The money men are just abusing the fans. That's it. In my opinion, we need to get defenders has to be a priority. Has to be. I think we've got drama. We might have drama. We might have Creswell. And if Kinnear's listening, get them two and say, right, you two are now the number one choices. And the word to the manager is, we're going to put you two in starting 11 week in, week out. Unless there's a bit of tiredness, injuries and stuff like that. And there won't be much rotation, or we'll keep it to a minimum. But you're certainly going to be guaranteed first team spots. Aronson and McKennie have going, mate. Aronson it sounds like he's on his way out, doesn't it? I can't see him. I can't see. If he thought that the Premier League was hard, he's got no idea what's coming when he gets to Championship. Same for McKennie. I think both of them. McKennie, I think it sounds like he's already back at Juve. Juve are reportedly after Nonto as well. So, Leeds need to be doing whatever it takes to make sure Wilfred Nonto doesn't go anywhere and that he's utilised properly in this season ahead. Because at the moment, I think he's a terrific player. And, McKennie will not play championship football and our defenders are getting old. Yeah. Coops is 31. Yeah. It's not just the age of these guys. I'm afraid to say it's the ability and the pace. Having the age and the experience is one thing, but when you lose your legs, and it was so clear to see how many times Ayling got beat, and Cooper played really well for us. Mostly, I thought, but put him against a one-on-one against anybody who's got a bit of pace, he's going to get torn to pieces. I think this championship. Don't underestimate this championship. A lot of people are underestimating it. Don't underestimate it, because the moment you do and complacency sets in, that's the moment we're going to find ourselves in a lot more trouble than we're already in. At the moment, we saw it during the Premier League season that when the panic button was hit, it was hit too late to bring Allardyce in. In my opinion, he should have been in a lot earlier. But if you listen to that tippy tappy football sport broadcast today, it turns out that Radrizzani might have tried to bring Allardyce in earlier, and it was Orta that stopped it from happening. And Orta persuaded Radrizzani to get Gracia instead of Allardyce. Perhaps if he'd have got Allardyce in, I think we'd have stayed up. I really do. I think Sam came in for a lot of criticism from a lot of Leeds fans. You're putting 6 defenders up pitch. Well, you can't win any games unless you stop the opponent from scoring. And even when we did put 6 or 7 recognised defenders on the pitch, it only took Harry Kane two frigging minutes to open us up. So it just shows that, that defence that we have, it wasn't capable in the Premier League. The way that we defended wasn't capable in the Premier League. Sending everybody up into the opponent's half and just leaving Liam Cooper stood on the halfway line and hoping that he's going to be able to have the pace to catch someone like Matomo or something like that. No chance, mate. No chance. I think the Championship is one of the most... It's in my opinion, it's more competitive than the Premier League. When people sit there and talk about Bielsa, and Bielsa's name will always come up, right? But when people come and talk about Bielsa, I think only this season coming up will they realise just how good that side was that we had. Because we struggled at times during that season, but we ended up winning it by 10 points when we got promoted. And I honestly think that if we don't get our act together soon, we're going to find ourselves in a whole lot of trouble in that Championship right from the start. Because you need to, something like this, you need to hit the ground running. I mean, look at Burnley, for Christ's sake. Burnley have already got their players back from holiday, 5th of June, and Vincent Kompany's got them all back in training. They've literally had about a week, possibly 10 days, and they're back. They've all been recalled. Why has he done that? Well, he knows that when you're playing in the Premier League, the level of fitness is higher, the skill levels are higher, the discipline is much higher in terms of shape, in terms of performance, and all of these other things. Vincent Company played right at the very top level of the Premier League, so he knows what it's all about. That he isn't fooled that these players that he's got at Burnley are going to need to be on top of their game when they at the peak of the fitness for an entire season ahead. It's just, I've seen a couple of pundits. Oh, you can't do that. The players have to have a bit of time, and no, Vincent Company doesn't agree with you, mate. Premier League winning club captain doesn't agree with you. Whenever we conceded a corner, all 11 players are defending, yet we still concede. Yeah. Well, because, man, Josh, the simple answer is we're crap at defending. Absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. You look back at some of those goals that we conceded. Honestly, that hindsight and the internet now is just unbelievable. Because once upon a time, you couldn't do what we can do now. I mean, you could go back and look at any game you want and comment and see where we went wrong and see how bad things actually were for us. It is a complete and utter shambles that we've gone down. But some people will say, oh, we were unlucky. Well, you're unlucky if it happens once or twice. But for Leeds in that second half of the season, it was happening every game, wasn't it? After that Palace game, that dreaded Palace game, it was happening every game. We were just getting pulled apart and opened up. And teams weren't worried about can we win this fixture. They were more worried about how many goals can we put past Leeds this afternoon. And it hurts, Leeds fans are hurt by what they've seen. Who else did I see? He's come out on. I think, what's his name? Oh God. Adam Forshaw. I think Forshaw came out, didn't he? And he said something about he's taken the time just to reflect, think a lot about his future and all that sort of thing. I think Forshaw will probably stay. I think if he stays and they can keep him fit, he'll be a great asset for us. No word yet on Stuart Dallas. Stuart Dallas should have been included in the Northern Ireland squad, but I don't think he was. And the rumor is that he's staying at Thorpe Arch for the season, or for the closed season. All these other teams, I'm going to go a little bit conspiracy theorist here, and it's reported that. Sorry, let me start that again. Leeds or the Premier League is organising a tournament in the USA during the close season, right? There's a few teams in there. I can't remember what they call it. Perhaps we'll go there and have a look in a moment. It makes me wonder if they've had instructions that we need you to get relegated this season. Because it's all about, make no mistake, it's all about money, right? Sunday is the Champions League. I might have to see if there's a watch along going on with that one. Maybe I might do it. I don't know. Maybe I'll collab on that one and we'll talk about how good Man City are, how great Calvin Phillips is. Poor old Calvin. He's become a bit of a meme, hasn't he? Yeah, it's the Premier League Stars or something they're calling it, and it's the 8 teams touring in the USA. Now, Leeds was supposed to be a part of that, but then they got replaced by Fulham. So it makes me wonder if the Premier League knew, or the Premier League, and I always think, this game, football is now more corrupt than it ever has been at any time in the past. Meslier, 5 clean sheets out of 34, meaning he conceded a goal every 48 minutes. Every 60 minutes, he conceded 1.8 goals. Yeah, not good enough. In the end, it was clear. I mean, that Leighton Baines goal. I remembered sitting there doing watch along, and I'm just sat there thinking, "Oh, here he goes! It's going down right wing." Someone's tracking him, but he's nowhere near. And I think it might be Robin Koch off the top of my head. And it's an impossible angle. It is an impossible. How the hell he's managed to get that in, I don't know. But the positioning of Meslier is literally stood in the middle of the 6-yard box. Go back, have a look at that Everton game, and you'll see what I mean when you see the positioning. But that wasn't the only goal that was apparent. There were a couple of Liverpool goals. And I just wonder, the powers that be, right, we'll get rid of Leeds and we'll pay him the money and send them down and we'll get 3 others up and Everton will survive. And, somebody sat there at Premier League HQ writing a script out of how they want the season to end, kind of thing. And and sure enough, it happens, doesn't it? Leeds get relegated, and it's done, and that's it. So, did they know? Does the Premier League know how bad things have been at Leeds? Do they know what's been going on in the boardroom? Do they know how more about Radrazani's intentions? And the thing, man, Josh, if you're still there, wherever there's money, there's corruption and power. And it seems to me with these teams selling themselves, clubs selling themselves to overseas owners, the Premier League is going to end up powerless. It really is. And it's at the beck and call of, well, if you can pay this, we'll think about it. But if you pay that, we'll definitely do it. That's what's going on, and don't be fooled. It's been going on. It's been going on for years. The level of corruption and in sport and in football, these clubs now are just literally used as, in some cases, money laundering devices, investment vehicles. Call them whatever you want to call them, but they're just cash cows, and fans. Fans mean nothing. So, I don't know if the 49ers know what they're taking on, but it's not, it's going to be a very difficult time for us in that championship. Tyler Adams, are we going to try and retain him? Apparently, Forest and Villa are after him. And I think if Leeds are going to sell him, make sure you dig deep in the Forest and Villa checkbooks and make sure that the club has enough revenue and income to survive this season that's coming. So there we go. Yeah. Even Blackpool, who are now in League One, conceded less goals than us. Yeah, I said that, didn't I, during one of the streams? It's a startling thought. Who's going to come in? It's anybody's guess at the minute. I mean, to have a bit of stability, and what that means is to have. I think I commented on the Tippy Tappy Football podcast. If you see it on YouTube, I would like to have seen Sam just do 1 year with us, and perhaps have a handover period to Keane and Robinson over the next sort of 12 months, and that way then we have a bit of stability, and at the moment, we're going to need a new manager and his whole backroom staff coming in to the club. And we've already had, don't you think the players have put up with enough? Because at the moment, it sounds to me like there's more coming, and I don't know how the players' patience hasn't run out at this point. I really don't. I think mine would have done. Well, man, Josh, it's like this. When you've had a poor run of results like we've had, and when you're in a team and you're on the end of a pummeling every week, and you're running your socks off, and suddenly we're getting pulled apart. That's called deflation, and it's easy to get deflated, and it's easy to let your head drop, and it's hard to maintain your discipline, maintain your focus, and it's hard to re-energize yourself to try and get yourself back in the game. Now, under Bielsa, we always had a bit of fighting spirit that we knew if we were going to go behind in a game, the other team had better try and put us to bed, because if they didn't, there was always a chance that Leeds would come back and we'd get an equaliser, or we'd get and possibly end up going on and getting a winner. And you always felt that when we had Rafinha there, Calvin Phillips, these are the players who were Bielsa had and transformed their entire careers. You always thought that we had a chance. There wasn't one team that we feared, even in the Premier League in that first season. And you always thought, right, we're 1-0 down. Keep calm, we'll get back into this. And you knew that if the opponent didn't get 2 or 3 more goals in quick succession, that there was always a chance of us getting back into it and winning the match. Now, I think there was a game against, that happened countless times, didn't it? Bournemouth, as recently as Bournemouth, I think we beat them 4-3. There's no doubt in my mind these players can do it, but I think week in, week out, manager in, manager out, all of this other nonsense has really got on people's mindsets. And I think that's where the real challenge is, how do we get these players, give them a bit of stability, give them a coach who knows what they're doing, who has a decent backroom staff, knows a bit about tactics, man management, game management, and that's the most important thing, game management, because when we have been in winning positions, we've become the club that is likely to lose from a winning position, and that never used to happen under Bielsa. So there's a lot to decide. There's a lot to debate. There's not much really I can say. We've been going about an hour now. The last win we got was Forest at home, which was in April. I think it was disgusting. We only kept 5 clean sheets in 38 matches. If you're in the Premier League, you should be keeping at least 10 to 15. 10 to 15 is a tall order. Man, Josh, football is a fickle game. People are fickle, right? Fans are fickle. And what I mean by that is they're very sensitive and highly tuned to what's going on. Look at Man United. Man United got to the FA Cup final. They lost it to the champions. And after the game, everybody's calling for David De Gea's head. David De Gea won the Golden Glove this season. He conceded fewer goals than any other goalkeeper, and probably played in more games than any other goalkeeper. He got caught out. It's the first one, 16 seconds into a match, 12 seconds into a match, you don't expect that happening. Varane literally put the ball on Gundogan's foot for the first one, and that second one, I mean, it came off Gundogan's shin. And this is what I mean about luck. When we talk about luck, that was a bloody lucky goal because the way it bounced over one of the defender's knees as he had his leg up in an upright position, and it just left him. By the time he knew what had happened, it was all over. But Manchester United didn't learn from Leeds. And they should have done that. Gundogan's going to be hanging around on the edge of the 18-yard box. You stand on his toes and make sure he can't hit you with one of his volleys, because Man City will be looking for that as an option if we pack the box. And that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what Man United didn't do. I mean, I was absolutely delighted that Man United lost and Man City won it, but it shows to me that there was no learning there that happened. And by the time that they've learned for Man United, it's too late. They get that dubious penalty decision. And you think, Man United could come back into this. But they didn't. Man City just literally dominated and controlled that entire game, start to finish. And it just shows what an unbelievable side they are. They are just an unbelievable side. But anyway. Right, well, not much to report. I think the Blackburn. What was that again?
Where's the money? I'm joking.
He's going to become a meme now, isn't he, on my channel? Yeah, the other guy I've seen who's going to be talked about wasn't John Dal Thomason, is it? No, it isn't. That's not him. I can't remember who it was. I thought it was I saw some talk. It's John Dal Tom. It could be John Dal Thomason, but there's a couple of other managers being mentioned online at the moment. So, there's nothing really that's been said about who's going to be the new manager. There's no definite appointments. Now, there's been a couple of rumours swirling online yet again. The rumour mill, never stops, does it? But the rumour is that Leeds have organised a friendly with the Glasgow Rangers. It's scheduled to be, I think, 26th of July. Both clubs don't have any mention of that. As the last time I checked on Glasgow Rangers, there's no mention of it at all. But they have got other mentions of other pre-season stuff that they're doing. And everybody say, because we've got a friendly against Glasgow Rangers, it must mean that Stevie Gerrard's taken over, as he's going to be announced as the coach after the formalities with the ownership and everything else gets sorted out. It opens on the 14th of June, does the transfer window, and they can start negotiations and signings can be sorted out. Leeds, like the Bay Area, exists constant tremors of occasional seismic shocks, which are often on the end of, currently sits in an unnerving limbo. Plates look set to go soft again. I think, honestly, it's mind-blowing. The BBC write that Radrazani owns Leeds fans the courtesy of a swift sale, but he isn't gonna buckle, is he? He's gonna get his Premier. He wants his Premier League price. He doesn't want the Championship price. I think there's nothing anybody could do to make him change his mind. He's a shrewd businessman. He isn't daft, and I think we're all, I think honestly we're in limbo. We're in limbo, and I'm wondering if the club's been stalled. He stalled it, and I just don't know. I don't know. 49ers haven't made any statements where things are conjured to suggest that there's a way forward, and that's true. Is that I haven't seen anything yet from 49ers, but as soon as we do, I'll let you know on this channel, and there we go. So we all want to know, don't we? I think Man U penalty was a disgrace. Yeah, VAR ruined football. I think to a degree it has. I think so. I can't join European Cup final. Well, we haven't done anything about that. Maybe Stu and I are gonna talk. Maybe if he comes in, and maybe we'll do a Champions League watch along. I don't know. I can't give any decider on that yet. All I can do is drop him an email, and if he says yes, then it's a yes. If he says no, then it's a no. That's it. So there we are. It's all up in the air. Leeds no further forward than we were last week. It's all been stalled. We're in a mess, and I just hope that this stuff all gets sorted out sooner rather than later. I'm Gary. This is Watch Along Leeds. Just one quick message before I go. I think the 49ers will buy us so Radrazani could go get Sampdoria, and I think 49ers could transform the club, make us possibly achieve. This is the dream of Radrazani, isn't it? To have some kind of Red Bull type network, Man City type network, feeder clubs, and all this other stuff. Don't know. Maybe we'll leave that one to another stream. But I'm Gary. This is Watch Along Leeds. I'm going to terminate the stream now and end it here because we're an hour and 12 minutes in, and I'm quite tired. It's been a long old week. Apologies for the delays and stuff yesterday and cancellations, but some things came up, and those needed my attention. So thank you again. If you haven't pressed the subscribe button, you can always press the subscribe button, like button, and all the rest of it. There's a little video here if you want to watch that. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. All the very best. Cheerio.